All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Today's August 9th. Learn Digital Advertising, Internet Marketing News. Thank you for joining us.
All right, so we got a few topics here to cover for you guys today. Looks like we got someone tuned in. Welcome to the show. And if we can get if you can show me the playlist here.
Show you the playlist. All right, there we go. Love live
cool. So we got some news updates for you guys. We got a few topics.
Hold on.
Yeah.
This is Juan. I'm Rick. This is Learn Digital Advertising Daily News. Subscribe below. Let's start the news, Juan.
Welcome in. So we got Google is now adding podcasts to search results.
Yippee!
Super cool. If you're into the podcast, it's something that you should consider doing now, definitely. It's another angle for SEO, pretty much. So.
And I love this as a consumer. Like, I love the idea. I don't watch enough podcasts. I don't search through podcasts enough, and starting to work those into search results and opening my eyes to new podcasts. I think it's a great concept. The example we've got up on now is a query specific to include the word podcast in it. So obviously much more likely to show podcasts. But interesting to see what will happen in time as far as just generic queries and a podcast. Maybe they covered the topic really well to see how much that gets integrated.
Right now, the reason you have to add podcasts at the end of the search is because it's like that's how it's built to be able to serve you up podcasts. But later on, like pretty much Google is determining what's in the content by listening to the audio, and people will be able to search and see your podcast without having to type in podcast, which is coming later on as well.
Very good. I wonder if it'll help to name your podcast to be more relevant for podcast queries. Deep thoughts today. Let's go on to the next item. So Google basically is updating its rendering engine in most tools to sort of a more current version. So essentially, if you're using anything like Google Search Console, the mobile-friendly testing tool, the rich snippet testing tool, the AMP testing tool, any of those, you may be aware that you can get a view of how Google is rendering your site. Previously, Google wasn't able to really, with their old rendering engine, wasn't really able to render JavaScript in the right way. So you'd basically get, like the example we have on screen, it might show that, hey, Googlebot's not seeing your content, but then in reality, Google was. There's just a rendering engine that wasn't showing you that, basically. So this has basically been updated now and is going to be more up to date. So the good news is you'll have a better idea of how Googlebot is seeing your content, even if you're using some newer technologies, newer JavaScript methods, stuff like that.
Very nice.
So
advancement there.
Pretty cool. Look for that in any of those Google tools. Next, why don't let you cover this one? This was something you worked on recently and wasted a lot of time doing.
Yeah. So. They've added campaign level now to audiences, which is it's actually seems like a simple thing. And it's like why wasn't it there before? But before you can only add campaign ad group level audiences, and it's actually a lot simpler now. So you just go to the campaign level and you can add your retargeting audience to the entire campaign, which simplifies things.
Yeah, definitely makes things easier. Obviously, you could, when you add at the campaign level, your bid adjustments and whatnot are going to be then at the campaign level. So if within your campaign you have ad groups, maybe where an audience performs significantly differently, you may still want to add them at the ad group level, but this does make it easier where if you have a campaign that's got like 50 ad groups in it, to just add the audience once and control that bid adjustment and monitor that data all in that rolled up view.
You can still kind of do it. It's just quite a few more clicks. That's really all it is. Now it's just a few less clicks.
All right. Next on the docket, we've got Google Merchant Center automatic price and inventory update. So we actually saw this, and I'm thinking back 4 months ago, where we had some clients just get rejections across the board in Google Merchant Center. And the reason that happened was that we had implemented, for SEO reasons, product metadata, and the way that was implemented didn't jive with what our feed was putting out. So basically what's happening now, this is sort of a default function now, where Google is going to crawl the site, and either based on what it interprets just with the crawl, or if you have, for SEO purposes, product metadata or rich snippet type stuff implemented, it's going to use that. It's going to prioritize that over what you put in your feed, and specifically for two pieces of your feed, the price and the inventory. And I think Google's goal really here is that even if you ran out of inventory at lunchtime, they don't still want to show ads for stuff that's out of date. So what it's going to try to do is use that website as a sort of confirmation. I think the main thing really to keep in mind here is you can leave it, so you're able to disable this, but you can leave it enabled at the account level. But what I think could happen, and the reason I'm not going to do that, is products may just start showing as no inventory, even if you don't intend them to.
Yeah.
And it just could be less obvious, maybe you have some programming problem, or if you have a complicated inventory system, your website may not really have the most current inventory built into this page itself. So I would say, generally the way we're approaching this is actually disabling this at the account level. Now the downside to that is you may see a lot of product rejections, but if you see the rejections, then you got to fix something.
Yeah.
The alternative is you don't really know that certain products aren't showing up, and traffic goes down, conversions go down, and you don't really know why. So
maybe a good approach is to just disable it for now and see what errors and disable products you get and fix those up real fast.
Yep, but just a big change in Merchant Center there.
Cool. And Google Ads next. So it's not too crazy of a thing here, but you can visually manage multiple accounts. So this would affect more agency level or multiple account level, multiple account manager level. So if you do manage another couple of accounts, and then you manage someone who manages those couple of accounts, this visual view will definitely make it easier for you to see who's managing what, who's where, and who's can affect what. Before you could still do it, but it wasn't on a visual level. You had to click around quite a bit to be able to find. So this is a really cool update. Visual is always better.
It just shows you what a rabbit hole your account is, basically. So if you've got just a mess in how you've organized your MCC, this is going to kind of show you and maybe help you manage it a little bit.
Visual, always good.
So that's it for the news today. You can subscribe, ring the bell, all that kind of stuff. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in the future.
Signing out.